Raw, uncut, and unapologetic. Welcome to Men Talking Mindfulness.
Chronic pain, by any metric, is the most disabling health problem we have. It's the most expensive health problem we have. Right? And it affects, as I said before, 1 in 5 people, 1 in 10 people really badly.
So it's also a huge moneymaker.
Well, there's there's a part of the answer. Right. So we have developed in the healthcare professions entire professions that deliver care for people with chronic pain as though we still understand pain like we did in the 1950s. Right? They deliver care for chronic pain as though it is an acute injury that hasn't healed yet. Now, there is an occasional person who has an acute injury that hasn't healed yet. Right, and they will do well to fix that injury. They're very unusual situations, but they exist. But even that person will have a pain system that has learnt to be more efficient over time. So it will feel worse than it is. And we've got to be really, really sure when we talk about this that the pain is what you feel. All you know about this is your pain. And we can't slip into even phrases that we don't even think about. Like as a health professional, we spend time trying to teach health professionals not to say things very well-meaning like, "Look, I know for you your pain is real," right? Because what that actually implies is it's not for me. We have to be really careful about it. Or your pain feels your pain. You feel like you have more pain than you have. That's an erroneous statement. You can't feel like you have more pain than you have because what you feel is the pain that you have. Right? But as health professionals, we need to be really careful not to say those things because people in pain have spent the entire time being in pain dealing with people who don't believe them because those people have an old-fashioned understanding of pain. That is, if you don't have an injury, you can't have pain. Right? So why do we persist in searching for a single cure or trying to allocate pain to a single source of the body? Part of it is because that's how we used to think pain worked. Why is it so hard to change what we think about that? Well, because it feels like that. It feels like there's a problem in exactly one place. That's where the pain is. And that's why pain is so effective. We've evolved to have such a compelling feeling. It would be useless if pain was you sort of felt pain in your relationships or in the fridge or something. That would be stupid. We feel it in a given anatomical part of the body. It's compelling. So one reason is that it feels like that. Another reason is that healthcare professionals have been very slow to change their own understanding of the problem. And I think, John, you have touched on one significant contributor to that is they feel like it will undermine their income, their identity, and their livelihood. So the structural changes that need to occur inside our healthcare systems around pain are significant. That's an understatement.
Yeah.
And they're actually more significant in most parts of the US than they are in most parts of Australia, if you like, right? Because we have universal private health insurance and healthcare professionals don't get paid according to how many treatments they deliver. Whereas in a lot of contexts where you guys are, it's a really strict fee-for-service model. So it's in everyone's interests for the problem to not get fixed in a way.
Right.
And I know in some jurisdictions, I think in California, in the workers' compensation scheme, it extends into the legal frameworks of care so that there's actually an advantage to being more disabled for the lawyers and perceived advantage for the clients. I don't think that's a real advantage because they're more disabled. So why doesn't it move? Well, I think it does come down to education. And that's why, 6 years ago, I set up a charity here in Australia that is called Pain Revolution. And anyone can go and look it up, painrevolution.org. And what we do is we are specifically targeting the way healthcare professionals understand how pain works and the way the general public understands how pain works. Because as long as the general public is coming in and asking for treatments that we know don't work, right, or we know are risky, then healthcare professionals sort of have to deliver them regardless of what they think. So we need to get the general public to understand how pain works and what the pathway to recovery is most likely to be. And we need to get the healthcare professionals to understand that. And then the thing that is the most challenging for us, and will be very challenging in where you live, is getting in place the funding streams to support that. And the levers. In Australia at the moment, if you have chronic pain and you're not on a compensation system, so you weren't injured at work or you don't have life insurance, and you can't afford to pay $150 a session for a good allied health professional, then you cannot access care for chronic pain. There is no avenue for you. And I imagine there'll be places in your country that will be very similar to that.
There are.
So I think we need a revolution because what is completely clear in chronic pain is the most effective treatments we have are education. So you understand how pain works and you understand what the best things to do are. And they are also psychological and active therapies. So mindfulness, meditation, we know they're good things to learn how to do, to move, to stay active. Movement is so, we were talking about the effects of mindfulness. The effects of movement are profound and multi-system as well. Even imagining movement. If you can't move, if you hurt too much to move, imagining movement will deliver SIMS into your amplifier.
Listen to the full episode on our podcast, Men Talking Mindfulness, or watch it here on YouTube. Thanks for checking us out. mentalkingmindfulness.com. Peace.